Welcome to the Nightly Nuge. And this is tour week. Ted, I can't even tell you how excited I am. I know you're getting ready to go on tour for the Adios Mofo tour, but there is so much on our plate today and tomorrow and the next day. But let's start with Adios Mofo.
Well, I've been on the phone nonstop with the greatest band in the world. Jason Hartless on drums from Detroit has been with me for so many years now. And the great Greg Smith is out with a summer tour with a bunch of classic artists right now doing a 6 and 7 month tour. I'm only doing 6 weeks on the Adios Summertime 23 tour. So I've got Johnny Big, my grinding rhythm and blues bass god from Texas. And we've got a set list that scares me, and I ain't afraid of nothing. It's going to be the best tour of my life. Yes, it's the last organized tour because hotels are jail, and I don't ever want to spend another night in a hotel, and I won't after this tour. The point being is that I am so excited, so driven, so motivated by the music, the songs, the people that I communicate with on social media, even though it's censored beyond your wildest nightmares. The people love a band that puts their heart and soul into every performance. When I get on stage tomorrow night for the dress rehearsal, I will be performing my 6,790th rock out, because a dress rehearsal is a full concert. We'll have some special friends there. So I love it now more than ever, but I am so dedicated to my grandchildren, my wife, Shemaine. By the way, my wife, Shemaine, I don't care what you might think of me, but Shemaine is my best hunting partner, my soulmate, the greatest cook, the sexiest thing that ever walked the earth. So I'm going to spend more time with my wife, Shemaine, my kids, my grandkids, and my dogs, and fighting to make America great again. So I'm dedicated to that. So I'm looking forward to everybody out there all week in Florida, then Mississippi. And we have a great friend in Mississippi. We have a lot of friends in Mississippi. And then up into the Midwest, then back through the heartland and down here to Texas and Oklahoma. And then many things will die and end up on my dinner plate all fall and winter.
That's awesome. And I love the way you did that. You just mentioned Mississippi because, Ted, I'm very excited. This week, not today, but starting tomorrow, we're going to have a very special guest, someone that you and I've got to know over time, Chris McDaniel. He's been in the Mississippi Senate for, I think this is his 16th year there. He's running for lieutenant governor. He's trying to unseat an incumbent down there. And I think those that listen to the show from Mississippi are going to really appreciate you and I digging into some of these issues with Chris McDaniel, because I've heard enough myself personally. I really love the guy. I think his policies are spot on. So we're going to have that this week. But before we even get into the end of politics, let's talk about something today that's just storming the country. And it's a good storming of the country. I'm not talking about the southern border right at the moment. I'm talking about The Sound of Freedom, the Jim Caviezel movie, where he's come out and telling the story of the heroic Tim Ballard in this much needed battle to end child sex trafficking that I know you've personally been involved in. Your wife, Shemaine, is very involved in. It's crazy. Over 40 million in opening weekend at the box office for this little Angel Studio production. And I'm just wondering what's your take on that. And I've got some Biden questions for you when it comes to child sex trafficking. But what's your take on how this movie is captivating America?
Well, bottom line is, I think everybody who is paying attention, and I hope more and more people are, and the indications are that because of the Nightly Nuge, because of our raising hell and spotlighting cockroaches and what Donald Trump did for 4 years to make America stronger, greater, richer, more powerful, and more respected, Donald Trump did that, and he will do it again. Nothing identifies the self-inflicted curse, the self-inflicted runaway, rampant sin in America than those in power turning a blind eye to the worst thing a human can do to another human, and that is child sex trafficking. It is rampant. It is controlled and perpetrated by those in the most powerful positions of all. I believe that many in the White House, that many throughout government, that many throughout federal law enforcement agencies, and I know that's hard to digest, but I know a bunch of these warriors and these whistleblowers in the federal government and the federal law enforcement agencies that are now starting to admit that they have witnessed the Justice Department, the so-called Justice Department, and people in authority turning a blind eye to the horrific demonic curse of child sex trafficking through the Texas southern border, as authorized by Governor Greg Abbott, allowing our border to be open, knowing that the coyotes are raping and trafficking children for a sexual commodity. I'm telling you, Keith, the words are difficult to express because it is so heart-shattering. But my friends watching the Nightly Nuge, if you're not aware of this, you need to see this movie, because they are spotlighting the evil amongst us, and we cannot look the other way. There's a story from a survivor of Auschwitz that was singing in a church in Nuremberg in 1938 as the Jews were screaming in horror in the boxcars of the train going by their church on Sunday. And instead of admitting that their fellow Germans were slaughtering innocent Jews, they closed the windows and sang louder to block out the uncomfortable sin that they were allowing to happen. And that's what is going on in America. We are looking the other way while children are being used as a sex-abusing commodity. And the indicators by the drag queens, the RuPauls, the LGBTQ transgender lie, demonicy, that is what this is all about, to somehow turn the word pedophile into underage attractants by an absolute satanic cult in this country. And I'm glad this movie is now spreading, and everybody should see it, and everybody should get everybody they know to see it, and then communicate with their elected employees and blow the American whistle like we've never blown it before.
Well, Ted, that's some powerful stuff. Obviously, the rest of the week, we're going to have a guest, Chris McDaniel, Senator Chris McDaniel, running for lieutenant governor in Mississippi. But before I let you go today, as we're recording right at this moment for today's Nightly Nuge, hitting all the national wires, our friend, Kansas Attorney General Chris Kobach's making the news. He sued the governor, the Democrat governor of Kansas, because she was allowing trans people to change their birth certificate, to change their driver's license, and Kobach said no. And a judge has sided with Chris Kobach and said the governor is enjoined from allowing Kansans to change their driver's license to say there's something that God didn't make him. So I just wanted to say a great congratulations to Chris Kobach, Attorney General Kansas. Maybe we can get a statement from him we'll put on later. Final word, what's your take on this big victory for conservative and moral values in Kansas?
Well, Chris Kobach has always been on the front lines for constitutionality and the 10 Commandments and the Golden Rule and the Bill of Rights and all that radical stuff. So he's always been a hero warrior for real America. So a big salute to him. But everybody watching the Nightly News should be sure they communicate with their attorney generals and let them know what you think of this kind of insanity, this kind of legality, trying to legalize and trying to authorize and okay child sex trafficking, child sex molestation. So Chris Kobach is a hero. He's a blood brother for real freedom. He makes America great every day. And I hope we, the people all around this country, express our support for such movement by a great attorney general like Chris.
Ted, see you tomorrow. Looking forward to having Senator Chris McDaniel. We're going to talk a little Mississippi politics the rest of the week. See you then, buddy.
Yeah, Nightly News, truth, logic, common sense. It's inspiring.